Another beautiful trip. I mean, look at this view.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Say.
We are in the vineyard called Steinmeister. It's one of our most important vineyards. It's a historical steep vineyard, as we can see, and directly in this direction you have the old monastery, and the monks, they found they were very important for the regional wine culture.
Yes.
And so we are in it's pure history we stand in.
And the wine culture, I mean, in Saxony, which is the other of the two Eastern German wine regions, we have 800 to 900 years of history. It is the same in Saale-Unstrut, right? I mean, if not even longer, right?
No, it has the same history, you can say, because the Cistercians they came here, and the original monastery is in Burgundy.
Yeah.
And they come here with knowledge with wines, and they started viticulture in this region. It was around about the year 1100.
1100,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
And this maybe also explains, and we talk later about it when tasting some wines, why you have a focus on Burgundy varieties, right?
Yeah.
But before we dive into that, let's start with our questions that we ask all winemakers in the beginning. So first question for you. If you would not be a winemaker today, what would be the alternative?
That's a really good question, Jan, because my parents had not a family business as a winery, so my family started viticulture as hobby with only 1 hectare, and it was at the time when I graduated, and I had this time 20 years, no, it's longer. It was in year 2002.
2002, okay.
Yeah, and I had to make up my mind. What can I do with my life, with me? And I had the opinion to study philosophy or medicine. So, and then there was the vineyard, and I switched everything, and I had the impression working in the vineyard and in this beautiful landscape full of history and then full of flavors, and this fixed me very, very fast. And so I decided not to be a philosopher, but to make wine.
I always love it when I meet people who had philosophy as a serious option. I mean, because I spent the first 6 years of my university career studying history and philosophy before ending in business
same
and
but
then in
different.
wine. Same but different, exactly. But in the end, we all ended with wine, which is just beautiful in that regard. That being said, if you reflect that fairly short family history of winemaking, is there any specific person or any specific experience that you point to when it comes to your inspiration and your wine style? It's something that really inspired you and the philosophy you have today in the estate.
It's difficult to have a spot on only one person, because during my career as a winemaker, there were a lot of persons that influenced that had an influence on what we are doing now. But when I make up my mind, there's really one person I remember at the first point. It's Reinhard Löwenstein, and because also he is quite a philosopher, yeah. And,
he is indeed,
indeed, and so only this fact is for me just interesting. And we are a winery with a big amount of Riesling. It's untypical for the region, but we had 40 to 50% region on our vineyards, Riesling on our vineyards. And in the first years when we start to make wine, we looked for Vorbilder.
for idols or
idols,
inspiration.
And inspiration, exactly. And so we found Heimann Löwenstein, and we had a Heimann Löwenstein year. We drank only those wines, and what was so impressive that it's not a typical Riesling, and it's so deep flavored also, and this was so impressive, and because it also was important for us to find our own stylistic, and this was really important for us.
It's so lovely that you mentioned Reinhard and his wine style. It's also for me always a reference point when I talk about the Rieslings, German Riesling. I really appreciate deeply, and what you say is I mean, sometimes you talk to people about Reinhard's style and they call it as too intellectual.
Mhm.
And really, yeah, you need a lot of time, and you have to, let's say, observe his wines over a long time to
Yeah.
really understand what he's doing. It's beautiful. And
Mhm.
fun side note, when you're on Google Maps and you try to come to your estate, the first hit that you get is Heimat Löwenstein, of course, and wants to send you to the Mosel.
It's not by
So
chance.
if anybody is like here in Saale-Unstrut and wants to visit VDP Weingut Hey, just be careful not to drive to the Mosel to Heimat Löwenstein, because Google Maps is definitely not prioritizing you in the search function, unfortunately. Wonderful. Third question for you. You and your personality
Mhm.
as a bottle of wine. Any grape variety, any wine style coming to your mind, how you would describe yourself?
Yeah, you and your questions. So in summertime, I try to be mineral Riesling, or I want to be slim mineral Riesling. And in wintertime, I'm fine to be more opulent Burgundy. So that's my opinion of being a bottle of wine. Depends on the time of the year.
Depends on the time of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, I can totally associate with that, given that living in Copenhagen can be very depressive in wintertime. I definitely feel you, and summer is more like vibrant and lively and so on. Fourth question. I see a lot of greenings here.
Yeah.
So nature, and when it comes to the work of being a winemaker and making wine here, what does it mean to you? What kind of associations you have with nature?
When you have a look here in the vineyard, you see a lot of insects and plants, not only wines, and that's our opinion of ecosystem, of the ecosystem vineyard. When we start with winemaking, or my parents, almost 25 years ago, there was another opinion. It was you have no grass, and cleared everything, and now the opinion changed totally during the last decades, and yeah, sometimes it's difficult. We have workers, and they have to cut the grass, and I have to show them, you can cut this and this not and this not and this, and so it's quite difficult. But we love to have it, this structure, and yeah.
Beautiful. And I see you don't even clear around the wines, right? You just let it be, or is it more manpower at the moment that is difficult? Or
yeah, we have to change something here, because it's the driest vineyard.
Yeah.
In other vineyards, it's fine this way, and you hear it dropping in this part where we have the young wines. It's more manpower that is left now. So yeah, it has advantages and disadvantages. In such dry years as this year, it's a disadvantage, because also the other plants are taking the water, and so yeah,
but it has been also an exceptionally dry year for you here, right?
Yeah. So when we have a look at the last 10 years, we have 50% dry, really dry years, and also only 50% when without irrigation. So it's a big problem, and we have to make up our minds for future what to do, because water is limited and will be more limited in future. So.
Great. So Matthias, with those words, can you introduce the VDP estate Hey to us a little bit? Who are you? What are you doing?
So we are Weingut Hey, and we are quite young winery, because we were found only 18 years ago, quite a short time for a winery. My parents started in 2001 with 1 hectare as a hobby winery, but they didn't make the wine. They produced only grapes, and this was my first contact with viticulture. And then I studied viticulture in Italy and also in Geisenheim. And then I came back 2008. We produced our first bottles of wine, only 3,000 bottles. It was not enough for the family. But from this point on, we increased also the vineyards. Now we have around about 9 hectares. And we have on those vineyards the typical Triassic soils. So we have a great. The most important soil is limestone based soil, and then we have sandy stone also, and that's quite interesting. But the limestone has a big dominance here in this area, and so for this reason we have a focus. We developed a focus on not only on Riesling. It's 40% of the vineyards is we have Riesling, and but we have a focus on Burgundy varieties. So Pinot Blanc, Pinot Gris, also Pinot Noir. But on a small part, we produce 90% white wines, only 10% red wines, and what is important for us is as living wine culture, or persons who live wine culture, is that we have a gastronomy in our winery, and we have also cultural events here, like jazz evenings or something like that, and readings. So
it's definitely like some good reasons for people to stop by in summertime. And I stay in Naumburg for the first time, like really in the city center, in a small like holiday apartment. I must say, it's beautiful. It's just like such a cute little town with so much good architecture and so good vibes, actually. So yeah, people should come here and visit you, definitely, right?
Yeah, definitely.
More often. You have some wine for us. What do we get started with?
Let's have a look. So I choose the two most important varieties. So I choose one Riesling. It's from sandy stone. It's Premier Cru. It's called Sonneck, this vineyard. And it's from 2003, harvest 23. And I choose one Pinot Blanc from this vineyard. It's so it's Steinmeister, but it's on the classification of the village.
So Pinot Blanc, and you said Ortswein, or?
Exactly, it's Naumburg Pinot Blanc, Naumburger Weissburgunder. And
from the vineyard behind us.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I mean, and you see something like immediately here with what you associate with German white wines, right? I mean, you have this little bit of like fizzy look in the glass, right? What's the I think the English they call it for spritz, or this Riesling spritz feeling that we often have, right? So I'm expecting something fairly acidic and refreshing already. Let's see.
Yeah. In the harvest 23, we changed some important things in winemaking process. So from this harvest on, we decided only to use spontaneous fermentation. In the former years, we switched spontaneous and not spontaneous. And another thing is we make nearly no moist settling. So, and for this reason, it seems from color, it seems light and fresh, but it's quite creamy, full-bodied. Yeah.
It has some density in the nose. You get some, I want to say, even some earthiness, some oiliness immediately. There's something packed. There's something herbal, something spicy. Actually, like interestingly, the spontaneous comes out really nicely to me. I mean, it's also like fruity in a certain way, but actually the fruit is very subtle for me. It's more like all these kind of earthy, spicy, herbal aromas that really come out nicely. We have been interrupted a tiny bit because the iPhone clearly told us no cool climate anymore. So it's an extremely hot year, extremely dry. We have today 34 degrees Celsius, highest temperature.
That's true. So it's extremely hot, and but this is the new normality, you can say, That's a problem for us because we want to have a cool climate stylistic, and to reach this aim we have to harvest quite earlier. Some vintners started already now with the harvest for the champagne, for the sparkling wines. Sparkling wines. And so it will be also for us an early harvest. I think in 2 or 3 weeks we are going to start this year. 2 to 3 weeks.
So first week of September, really, like 1st September is actually starting the harvest. And we just talked about a little bit when we were up in the vineyard, your young wines, especially there, 3 to 4 years. I mean, you can see them struggling, right, with the recent vintages. I mean, we always say a wine has to struggle a bit, but struggling is a bit too much in these recent vintages, right? Frost last year, drought this year?
I have a saying, and I don't know, I cannot transform it good in English, maybe you can. When people ask me, when they come here and say, oh, it's so nice, so sunny, it's a fantastic summer, then I say to them, yes, but the wine is no cactus. So that's the problem. Without a bit of water, the wine cannot work. So we have to irrigate the driest parts. But fortunately, we had enough rain during winter time, and normally we have water layers in the soil, and where we have those water layers, the grapes have deep roots, and so the wines have deep roots, and they reach the water, and it looks fantastic this year. It will be a quite good year.
Okay, looking forward. So you brought something else for us, like a 2023 Riesling, first growth, or Erstes Gewächs.
Erstes Gewächs, okay. It's called Sonneneck. So the name says it's a sunny corner. But it's not that sunny like the vineyard we stood before. It's located near a forest, so we have cool air out of the forest. And this is the vineyard where we collect the grape at the last collecting day or harvest day we have there. And so this Riesling is never with too high alcohol. And it's one of the rare vineyards where you find pure sandy stone.
Pure sandy stone,
yeah.
Okay. So, and not too high alcohol means now 12.5, 13%? Or where are we going to?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Beautiful.
So this one is fermented spontaneous in stainless steel. The Pinot Blanc we tasted before, we fermented in used oak barrels. And also here we did no settlement, and it made also the malolactic. So for Riesling it's quite low in acidity, and we were totally impressed of the flavor we have here. So also we didn't make the pied de cuve. In this case, we waited 2 weeks, 3 weeks before spontaneous fermentation began, and so for this reason, also you have this typical spontaneous herbal flavors. Yeah.
Riesling is a fun grape variety, right? I mean, for us Germans especially, a fun grape variety. It's deep at our wine lovers' DNA. Yeah. But it's really interesting also, like for me, having so many like German exhibitors from these different wine growing regions we have, how really every region has somehow their unique terroir expression in Riesling, right? And I have it also like a little bit here when I have it in the nose. I mean, it's mineral, but in a very interesting way. It reminds me nearly of like salty caramel somehow. Yeah, it doesn't have this like stone minerality you have, for example, from the Mosel or the Mittelrhein. And the urbanness I can get too, but for example, totally different than you have in Pfalz, where you often have this like pronounced fennel and chamomile, fennel and camille elements, right? It's more subtle, it's more like herbal tea to me. Yeah. And really beautiful fruit. I mean, apple pear, maybe more on the yellow side, right? I mean, as you said, it's the latest you pick, so we have fairly ripe primary aromas. Beautiful. But so light, so elegant. I mean, the malolactic coming on very nicely, giving it some substance. Has it been on the lees at all? On
Around about 1 year on the full yeast. Yeah, and we love this pure Riesling style. Yeah.
That's a very, very beautiful bottle, actually. There's a really dream I have at some point of time, do a masterclass of like all 13 German wine growing regions and their Riesling style. I mean, this could be very, very exciting.
It sounds like a dream that is not too far to reach.
Not too far to. Yeah, I mean, we still like guys from the Hessische Bergstraße, you know, that's always like the big problem.
Okay.
So let's maybe, before we round it off, maybe like a little bit more like about Saale-Unstrut, because for me, it's like very special that we have like, again, in Copenhagen, it's a Cool Climate Summit 2 of the VDP estates. We have you and Böhmen Töchter coming, and then from Saxony, we have Martin Schwarz and Proschwitz joining us again. You four are part of the 6 VDP estates we have in these 2 regions. You are really on the forefront of trying to promote the region also internationally.
Exactly.
So what is the problem? Why are people not aware of Saale-Unstrut as a wine region? Even in Germany, it's a little bit difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, you're totally right. One of the most important reason is we have only Saxons and Saale-Unstrut together has only 1,500 hectares roundabout. So we have nearly 1.5% of the German
total acreage.
And so we feel that we are an important player, but we are not due to the amount of grapes we have. And then the next fact is that we have around this area we have big cities like Leipzig, Berlin, Dresden, Halle, Leipzig, and so we have a good local market. And up to 10 years ago, nearly every bottle was drunken in this area, in the local area. So we had not a chance to go out with our wines. And now this changed a little bit because both areas are still growing. And so we have the first time we have the chance to show the world what we are doing. So this is an advantage, and it's and we are happy to have this opportunity now.
We are happy to have you there, definitely, and show this also like to people in Scandinavia, because as I told you before, I think, and you agree, your wine style that you create here in these cool climate regions fits into the Scandinavian market. It fits to the cuisine. It fits into the spirit of time. So looking a little bit in the crystal ball, 5 years from now, where are you and where's Weingut Hey?
Now, we haven't seen on the video until now, but when you came here in the winery, you see we rebuilt the winery. You can say we have old buildings like this old cellar, but it's not big enough for our production now. And so we started to build a new cellar. And then we have 2 old buildings. There we want to fix the gastronomy and maybe 2 apartments, something like this. And so within the next 5 years, we want to finish all those rebuildings, restructuring things, and want to make this place more beautiful than it is now. Yeah.
And even more like a place where people can come to and stay and experience your wines and your winery.
Exactly. The last 2 years we had to stop events because we had to the Baustelle,
the construction side.
The construction side was not was there, and so within 5 years we have much more opportunities to celebrate wine here.
Beautiful. I think I'm looking forward to it already. And Matthias, thank you for your time today. Thank you for showing us around, introducing us, and we see you in Copenhagen in January, the latest.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers.